So I'm going to cover in the next section a brief overview of the snacking landscape, particularly talk about what types of applications, products are part of it, and then touch base on consumer insights from a proprietary snacking landscape study that Ingredion recently completed. So we'll get right to it. So in terms of the snacking landscape, when we're talking about snacking landscape, particularly for sweet baked goods, we're talking about breakfast pastries and muffins, cereal, granola, and snack bars, and snack cakes and cookies. So those are the three main buckets that we're talking about. So as far as consumers, what if they're interested? Consumers are brand loyal. They want transparency. They're willing to pay more for quality and premium snacks. And so what are those attributes and behaviors that sweet baked consumers are looking for? So if you look at what they're asking for, what they're looking for from our snacking landscape study, 80% of consumers stick to brands they love. So meaning if you get the taste and the texture, the flavor components, and that sweetness profile up front done right, chances are they're going to be brand loyal if they like the taste, the texture, and the sweetness profile, which is big. They'll come back for repeat purchases. 65% of consumers want to feel that they're purchasing or made products with loyal and transparent brands. So they want to know if you have a sustainability story. They want to see whatever claims you're on front of pack. If you're saying it has no added sugars or X amount of grams of sugars. So that type of loyalty and it comes with transparency. So anything you could do to boost up the transparency, consumers want that and look for it. And that's what will get them to, again, repeat purchase and stick with the brand as part of that picture. And then 50+ consumers make purchases based on quality, not price. So price for sure is important, but also quality. Consumers are looking for quality made ingredients, quality made products. They're saying, hey, I want a premium snack, and they're willing, again, to pay for it. So quality is a big part of that brand loyalty in this picture. So what do consumers love about their favorite sweet baked goods, right? And what are they particularly willing to pay more for? So 78% of consumers want a sweet baked snack that they taste and crave. So that's something that, of course, comes top of mind is taste for the consumer. And then 50% of consumers want to purchase a product that's indulgent. So you need to have that indulgence part of it. So the taste has to be there, and the indulgence, especially when you're talking about sweet baked goods, they want that indulgent product. And then 56% of consumers want a sweet baked snack with a lot of flavor. So taste, flavor, super critical, as we mentioned up front. And then the indulgence, because they want a sweet baked snack that, again, tastes good, is indulgent, and they can use as a treat. So when we're talking about flavors, what are some of those top flavors in US and Canada? So milk chocolate for sure rose to the top of the list. It's number one across both US and Canada. Not a huge surprise there. But when you look, there's other ones there. Second is chocolate chip, followed by vanilla, cocoa, and dark chocolate. But again, those are just the standards, that you're seeing a lot. But there's other flavors that are starting to pop and come out more. Particularly in the US, there's some that are growing, like peanut, maple, fig, and hazelnut. And in Canada, lemon, almond, strawberry, maple, red, and raspberry. So flavor, as we can see, is a key driver for consumers. And it's a fairly easy way. I say it's easy, right, to give consumers something that they want. But when you're formulating it, it's one of those things that where you can change the flavor up and really give the consumer a different eating experience. So, but more consumers wish there were better for you options. As more consumers become health focused in their diet choices, reduced sugar and clean label ingredients are rising in demand. And this is a great opportunity for brands to increase the quality and value of their snack and product offerings. So 67% of consumers check sugar content when they're buying a product like a snack bar. We know now more so than ever, consumers are reading labels, checking nutritional content. They really are more knowledgeable. And sugar is a big component of that, where they're looking to say how much sugar is in it. 75% of consumers want a sweet baked good that has the taste and crave that they want, but 40% wish they were made with cleaner label ingredients. So again, it's that balance of saying, hey, I want something that's good for me and it's healthy for me, but I need it to taste good as well. So another area where you could actually boost up is in terms of that we've seen consumers are willing to pay more for quality, and they're willing to pay more for premium ingredients and premium products. And protein is a great way to deliver this. And I mentioned protein because it goes hand in hand a lot nowadays with sugar reduction call outs and additional protein or nutrition boosts. So 52% of US consumers are actively seeking products that may with plant-based proteins. And 1 in 2 consumers are looking for snack bars fortified with protein. And 45% of consumers would pay 20 to 30% more for high protein claims. So again, big boost if you're seeing reducing sugar, adding protein. And again, we discussed up front, premium products, premium ingredients, consumers saying, hey, I want something that's quality. And this is a good way to deliver on that. So let's talk more about those brands and opportunities. So how do you stand out on the shelf, right? If you're thinking about a permissibly indulgent snack, what do you need to deliver to give that ultimate snack experience to the consumer? So convenience, of course, they need to have access to. It has to be there. Comfort, consumers like comfort foods, things that they want to have as a treat, indulgence, and better for you options. So as far as what consumers are looking for, they're saying, hey, I need the taste. I need to have that craving of a strong flavor as well. So how do you do that? You can achieve this brand loyalty by giving them a reliable eating experience. Give them that great taste and flavor. And I mentioned, hey, there's different flavors that are growing that you can incorporate into your snack that'll give that consumer that experience that they want. Another way is reduce sugar and clean label ingredients. We saw that consumers are looking for more reduced sugar options. They want premium type products with cleaner label ingredients. So you can formulate with premium ingredients that build that consumer's trust. And we know that trust is critical, right? Especially for brand loyalty. That's what they're looking for. And then lastly, indulgence. And as a special treat, if it's not indulgent, this is a category that's built around indulgence, so it needs to have some indulgence to it. And so you want to give consumers that product, right? That you want to really switch it from something that they're saying, hey, I only want to have it as a special treat because it's indulgent, to something that they can have all the time on a regular basis. That's really the ultimate goal when you're formulating and creating these types of products. So now I'll turn it over to Matt to go over some formulation challenges and solutions.
Thanks, Ricardo.
Yep.
Hello, everyone. As Ricardo mentioned, there's a lot of technical challenges replacing sugar in snacks, especially in sweet baked goods. Ricardo mentioned taste and flavor are the key things that we need. There's a key challenge. And then texture is also the key challenge as well. So getting the right spread in a cookie, or getting the right volume in a cake, or the right texture, crispness, hardness. So, and also browning is a key issue. You're replacing sugar. You don't want to have too much browning. So there's, mainly texture and taste and flavor are the key challenges replacing sugar in these types of applications. I guess the main thing around sweetness is you want to achieve the sweetness intensity, but also achieve sweetness quality. So we have ingredients here that can help with that, as well as address some of the textural attributes of the final product as well. So the next slide. In snack bars, I think texture is really a key thing here as well. It's around getting that desired texture, the cohesiveness, the binding, and then also protein can actually help create new textures as well. So protein can be used to replace some of the corn syrup or the sugar in your formulation. Getting protein claims as well as creating new textures. And then shelf life stability is the other key technical consideration here as well. So maintaining that texture and also like minimizing the firmness over time. So bars tend to get firm. So we have ingredient combinations we can use to help with those technical challenges. So here's like a list of different sugar reduction type ingredients, FMPs, or their flavors with modifying properties. And we also have a line of fruit and vegetable juice concentrates as well. So for our sugar reduction ingredients, mainly looking at reducing the total and added sugars, but also at reducing the amount of calories. So a lot of these like soluble fibers and polyols can reduce the amount of sugar as well as calories. And then also you can control the browning and color development by combining different ingredients together. So you can use like erythritol, for example, to control the browning in like a cookie. We also have many clean label options. And as I mentioned, we have options for maintaining texture. The FMPs are sort of a new area of ingredients that we've just started looking into. There are stevia-based molecules that can be used to bring out certain tonalities of flavor. So if you want more cocoa flavor or more vanilla flavor, you can use certain FMPs for this. And they also work well for for sodium reduction. So you can reduce the sodium in your formulation while maintaining the salt level and the sodium perception in your application. And lastly, fruit and vegetable juice concentrates can be used not only to provide color and flavor, but there are products that don't contribute to added sugars. So you can use them in your product as well, for color and flavor, and also for different textural functionality. So from the stevia side, we have sustainable sugar reduction solutions for sweet baked goods and snacks. We have a RevM from bioconversion, which is basically an enzymatic conversion of stevia leaf extract to RevM. So RevM has a very clean taste with minimal, we call it baggage or astringency and bitterness. So it has a more of sugar-like taste, and it's leaf-based. And we also have a RevM from fermentation, where we ferment sugar cane to RevM, and this also gives us a clean sweetness profile as well. And it's a vertical supply chain, are sustainably grown and they're traceable. They really work well with some of our bulking ingredients to bring back some of that sweetness quality and sweetness intensity in these snack applications.
Matt, I know what RevM is, and just for those who don't know what RevM is, could you extend the name and explain again how you get that name and the natural conversion? I don't know if you're going to cover this, but that's just my request. Yeah,
these are basically a class of compounds, stevioglycosides, and they have different side chains, depending on what the molecule is. So like Rev A has a certain chemical structure, Rev M, there's all Rev D, there's different ribosiosides, if you will, that have different sweetness characteristics, different solubilities, different costs. So I think Rev M is our most sugar-like compound, in that it has a very clean taste, most sugar-like taste, compared to sugar.
thank you. Yeah, that's a better, a clearer understanding to me. Thank you.
And then we also have a lot of we call them functional Billback ingredients. These are basically bulking agents. So functional Billback is a term that we use for all the attributes that sugar brings besides sweetness. So a lot of the textural attributes like binding in bars, freezing point depression in ice cream, browning. So we have allulose. Straight allulose is our rare sugar. It's basically an epimer of fructose, but it's 70% of sweetest sugar, has only 10% of the calories. It's exempt from added and total sugar labeling. And then, it mimics the functionalities of sugar with, softening the texture, which can be combined with like a protein bar. So if you're looking to, protein bars tend to be a little bit hard. You can use allulose to soften the bars. Erythritol, I mentioned that before, is another polyol. It has a more natural halo where it's not made through hydrogenation, but it's made through fermentation. But it also is basically 0 calories. It's also about 70% as sweet as sugar. And you can combine it with other bulking agents to give you a more sugar-like profile for functionality in the application. And then the low sugar syrup is our VersaSweet 1721. So this can be used especially in bars, to replace like binding and bulking of standard glucose syrups. Basically, there's lower added sugars. So there's about 50% lower added sugars. You can reduce the added sugar in your formulation. It works similarly to like a 42-DE corn syrup. So we've used proprietary enzymes to make the handling more similar. It's like a 42-DE corn syrup. And it works really well with allulose. So allulose is a monosaccharide. So when you put it into a bar, you'll get a very soft bar, but you can use the longer chain lengths from the VersaSweet to bring back some of those binding and cohesiveness characteristics that you're looking for in a bar. Then we have a GM and non-GM versions available as well. So I mentioned the FMPs. They're really considered natural stevia flavors. That's what we call them. We have a whole line of these natural stevia flavors. As I mentioned, you can bring out certain tonalities, looking for like berry notes or spice notes. You can also mask unwanted flavors. So like in a protein bar, you can mask some of the beanie notes from the protein. You can improve, they also round out the sweetness quality. So you can get more of a more sugar-like sweetness profile using the NSFs. And also boosting the perception of salt, which allows you to reduce the sodium in your application. The carrot juice concentrates and purees, they also can be used as well as enhanced flavor. So if you're maybe working like in a filling, or if you wanted to add some natural color to your application, you can use these type of products. They basically you get so a lot of them don't count as added sugar, so you can reduce the amount of added sugar in your application as well. Next slide. And then we have a holistic approach to the ingredient. We have other ingredients like starches and flours. We have the plant-based proteins, we have fibers, and hydrocolloids. So you can use these ingredients here, just sort of, you can modify, for example, using starch to modify the texture of your application. So you can create differentiating textures. You may have issues like improved dough handling and sheetability, reduce breakage. So there's a lot of functionality. These other type of ingredients that you wouldn't use them per se as sugar replacement, but they enhance or they complement the sugar reduction ingredients to give you more of a complete prototype. The plant-based proteins can be used also for partial wheat flour replacement as a new protein for protein claims. And then we have resistant starches for fiber sources that help with expansion. And hydrocolloids like gums can improve the texture as well. And maybe buying some additional available water that you might need to do when you're replacing sugar. So we have a whole line of ingredients here to help with formulation challenges as well. And this is just a sort of a snapshot of our different plant-based protein ingredients. We have isolates that are highest amount of protein content, really for around claiming excellent source of protein claims. And then we have a Vitessence Tex crumbles. These can actually be used in granola bars to provide some added texture. Protein concentrates are 55 to 60% protein, but they can also be used to provide protein claims as well. And then some of our pulse flours, they can be used replacing other, for clean label protein enhancement as well. And then pre-pulse starch, so we have a P-starch as well, more for textural benefits, including pre-baked goods and snacks. And then again, these are all domestically sourced. They're not sourced from major allergens, and they're sustainable.
So in this next section, so Matt and I are just going to walk through 3 specific prototype examples, really to just give you a sense of 3 different types of products that could be on the market and some of the challenges that you could face, especially when you're reducing sugar. So the first one, really, it's more of an indulgent cake type offering. And look, this one for sure, if you just look at it visually, looks very indulgent, looks very premium. But one of the things that could happen, especially with these types of products, Matt, is how do you reduce sugar without compromising that sweetness, right? That profile in something that looks so rich and indulgent. And it really, so how would you tackle that?
In this case, we can use our allulose to achieve a 30% reduction in sugar while we're maintaining the humectancy of the cake. So the allulose really helps maintain the moisture in the cake, over time. And also using some of our functional Billback portfolio that I mentioned, maybe the soluble fibers or erythritol, you can deliver a buttercream with 80% less sugar as well. That has good eating quality.
Yeah, I mean that's again key is that eating quality and the sweetness profile. But part of that too is the flavor that you were mentioning. So when you're looking to give that a good flavor profile the consumer wants, the texture is critical. But how do you do it? Delivering on a clean label preference, right? They're thinking I want something that's more premium, clean label. How do you get to that?
To actually boost the flavor profile using some of our carob passion fruit concentrates to actually create more of a flavor impact. And then we have a lot of our starches like Novation Lumina and citrus fiber to help with some of the textural, creating that good spongy texture with the clean label. So it's really around a lot of our starches and hydrocolloids that I talked about before.
But yeah, so again, it makes sense. And again, you're delivering on the sugar reduction for something that's an indulgent type product. You're giving that texture that's appealing, and delivering on clean label, which is an attribute that consumers may be looking for. So good to see that it's doable. One of my favorites too is the chocolate snack bar. Again, this is, at least visually, again, when you taste it, it's a premium rich product. And a similar concern would be, hey, how do you reduce sugar again without sacrificing on the taste and texture and that overall sweetness profile?
So we, in this case too, have used a combination of the allulose and versus sweet to address the textural binding characteristics of the bar. And, you know, it's really around like optimizing that chain length of the binding syrup to get the optimal texture. So you want the bar to be too hard or too soft. You know, so then we can also add in like some BAKERpedia to bring back some of the sweetness and the indulgent texture, indulgent flavor as well.
And we mentioned up front, and you highlighted some well in your section too, nutritional benefits. So if you want to make a claim and you want to add protein, again, that probably doesn't lend itself to the best texture in a product, especially if you add too much protein. How is this handled in this case for this product?
Yeah, so this is where the Vitessence Pulse 1853 comes in. It's a protein isolate. So you can add less to the bar formulation to deliver the protein content that you want per serving. The other option too here would be to add like a soluble fiber to make like fiber claims in the bar as well. So you can do that as well. Add like fiber claim.
Well, I think too, when you're mentioning, you know, if you want to make that claim, less might be more. So that's why you go with the isolate, so it doesn't affect that texture so much. And last but not least, for sure, for me, this is, I know I said the one before was my favorite, but this is my favorite, the Mosaic Truffle. Love this product, tastes great. Visually looks good, delivers on a lot. But again, as far as reducing sugar on something that's supposed to be indulgent like this, and again, keeping that sweetness profile that consumers want and the texture, how was this tackled here?
Yeah, so it was similar to the bar example previously where we're combining an allulose with a low sugar syrup. You could also use some stevia, maybe in the coating, the chocolate coating as well, to bring back some of that sweetness as well.
And what about the flavor, right?
Yeah, so the NSFs I mentioned, the flavor modifiers will also be used maybe to enhance some of the cocoa notes, or if you have a specific flavor that you're trying to accentuate. Also to round out the sweetness profile.
And again, believe it or not, this also has protein in it. So if you want to boost up nutrition, it's using that same pea protein isolate that you mentioned. But again, I just highlighting again from what Matt is saying, in a lot of these applications, it's just not one product that does it, right? Depending on what the eating experience is, what you want to get out of it, you may have to use multiple products or a system of products. Is that approach, right? Other than saying, hey, we're going to choose one sweetener to deliver on everything.
Yeah, at that point, there's no magic bullet. So you have to combine different ingredients to optimize the functionality and be more sugar-like in these applications.
That is the key. So those are our prototypes we wanted to go through, and that's our presentation. And again, we have a bunch of insights in different areas, different applications across sweet baked goods. So if there's interest or you're interested in other opportunities that we can help with or samples, feel free to reach out to Matt or myself. You see our contact information there. And again, I want to thank everyone, and especially thank BAKERpedia and Dr. Lin for supporting us here.